As a United fan, if I asked you which side of the attack is more dominant for us, whether it's the left wing, the center of the pitch, or the right wing, what would your answer be? I'd be willing to bet that most people say the right wing because we have Ahmad and Mbumo playing off of that side, and it's always looked like the most dangerous side of our attack. Well, surprisingly, it looks like our attacking focus has been more through the left wing this season, with 39% on average coming from the left hand side, 25% from the middle, and only 36% from the right wing. So it got me thinking, how is it that we are attacking so much down the left hand side and not really noticing it? Could it be that specific games are skewing the overall impact more towards the left wing than the overall picture is? So, out of the 15 games that we've played this year, here are the 6 games that Mason Mount has started. Now, if we rearrange the games by left wing dominance, 5 of the top 6 games are ones that Mason Mount has started in. That, my friends, is no coincidence. That is the impact, the unique influence that is stopping us from becoming a right wing or nothing. So we're here today to talk about how Mount, Shaw, and Dalot have transformed United's left side and why Money Mace has been the key to it all. Now, many players had good games against Wolves, but I specifically saw Shaw, Diogo Dalot, and Mount standing out more than the others. All 3 of them were exceptional with their passing, movement, and positional discipline, and I have tons of clips here today to show you just that, so make sure you stay till the end of the video. We start here with Aiden Heaven about to receive the ball from Mazraoui. We can see that Mount and Mbumo are almost mirror images of each other in the inside half spaces on both sides. Pay close attention here to both Mount and Mbumo as we play along. Because the ball is moving from the right side to the left side of the pitch, Mbumo knows that he has to go forward to exploit the space in behind that might open on this side, and Mount knows he needs to come deeper to link up the play. As the ball comes forward to Shaw here, Mbumo is no longer in frame, but interestingly, neither is Diogo Dalot. If Mbumo's goal, who is the opposite number 10 in this scenario, is to find space in behind on the opposite side of the ball, Dalot's goal as the wingback is to find space in behind the ball on the ball side. And Dalot did this time and time again, as we'll see in some more clips in a second. Shaw gets the ball out of his feet and finds Mount up ahead right here. And here we also see Dalot tracking back because you see how many Wolves players are committed to the man-to-man press. Almost 7 players inside our own box here, so Dalot's providing support. Now Mount takes a really nice touch on the outside to allow Casemiro to interchange with him and go out on the overlap. And as soon as this guy right here overcommits onto Casemiro, Dalot takes that as a sign to go on the overlap and get on the outside, right? But unfortunately, this guy gets a handball and we win a free kick. But what we're seeing here is in the space of 5 or 6 in-game seconds, we've seen Dalot run in behind, track back, and then run forward again, based on just his understanding of what Amorim's system requires. This shows the difference between our system looking bad at the beginning of the season and the same system now is looking good. It is evidence of the players getting the Amorim system into their hearts, heads, brains, and veins of his players, just like Ralph Rangnick once said. Interestingly enough, that same free kick that we just saw is the one that gets Dalot his one-on-one chance from Bruno, and he takes an early pass out to Dalot here. Wolves are totally switched off, and Dalot takes this very, very nice touch to control the ball with his feet and get it into his stride, because let's be honest here, if he doesn't get that touch perfect, it either goes too far out wide or he kills the ball dead and it doesn't allow him momentum to take it forward. So this is a perfect touch and we have to give Dalot the credit for that. And here he cuts inside very nicely. And when I first saw this chance, I thought maybe there's a chance for him to cut it back to Mbumo, and he didn't. But actually, Tati Gomez does a very good job of getting in front of Mbumo, so there's no chance for Dalot but to shoot it at goal. And to be extremely fair here, Sam Johnston does a great job of saving the shot. And the only critical thing you can say about Dalot here is maybe if he gets it slightly above Johnston, more towards the top corner, this is much harder to save because Johnston actually does a very good job of saving the low ball over there, right? So, but I think it's okay to just say the keeper did well on this one. Now, here we are in the 12th minute, and Wolves have just won the second ball from a United long kick. Mosquera here, I believe, tries the pass on the inside to Andre here, which completely whiffs, and Casemiro picks it up very nicely with the idea to pass it forward to Dalot over here, right? Now, watch how well Dalot lets this ball come across his body, knowing that the defender's coming tight to him to get it just past him right there. Again, this was so good. Let's run it back. So Casemiro passes this forward, and first time Dalot's ready to freaking take that touch and get past the player. He's completely left for dead, and Dalot then plays this nice pass out to Mason Mount. And ideally, if we have, let's say, a more pacey left number 10 here, that person can get straight to the byline and maybe cut it back for Cunha over here. But because Mount is slower and he knows that's not part of his game, he actually turns on the inside and tries to find a pass to Dalot. But unfortunately, we end up losing the ball. Now, I don't mind us losing the ball in this way because 7 or 8 times out of 10, we probably create a chance because Mount is able to give it back to Dalot and he can drive to the touchline or something like that, right? This is fast, one-touch football that we should be playing a lot more often, and that's why I really like this play. We cut to the 18th minute now, and Lawmans has just kicked it long. As we skip forward a bit, Mosquera wins the first header, and the second ball is coming down to Mason Mount right here. And guys, he takes one of the most disgusting first touches I have seen in a long time to make Andre look like a Sunday League footballer and gets past him and makes him foul him as well. And we win the foul from here. Guys, a few live streams ago on the channel, me and Rishi had a big discussion on Mason Mount, and there was a question about what Mount is even good at. I think that touch right there and winning the foul is a very good example of footballing soft skill that goes unnoticed from Mount. He has a very good read on the game, and that allows him to take on the coach's instructions to a T. It's no surprise that every coach he works with loves him, even though he's not the fastest or strongest player that he's going around. So for me, Mount is that glue type of player. I know there's lots of frustrations about his injury history and all that, but given that he can stay fit enough to be an important squad player, I think he's always going to be the first guy off the bench and also the guy that you select in big, difficult games. Here we are now in the 22nd minute, and Shaw has the ball here with Dalot coming deep to provide a passing option. As Dalot receives this ball, you can see that Wolves are going for this man-to-man press, right? So I'm going to play it, and Dalot gets the ball here. We have Hoover going on Dalot. We have Arias on Shaw. We have Andre coming on to Casemiro here, and we have Mosquera on Mount. Now, as Dalot turns around and takes a touch on the inside to get away from the press, pay attention to Bruno Fernandes in the space behind Mount here. Dalot knows exactly what he needs to do as soon as he takes that touch on the inside, and he plays the ball almost first time in behind a reverse pass straight into Bruno's path. And I want you guys to see this again in full speed, because Dalot takes this touch on the inside and quickly plays that pass out to Bruno, right? That is, without hesitation, knowing exactly what you need to do. That same quote from Ralf Rangnick I said before, which is hearts, heads, brains, and veins. And think back to how often we actually see Bruno making this run onto the left wing right here. And the correct answer is not that often. It's usually because we have Cunha and Dorgu, or one of the two, playing in that left side, which makes the positional interchanges just not as smooth as when we have Dalot and Mount playing in those roles. If we go back to when Dalot receives it from Shaw, I normally don't see Cunha in the 10 role holding his position like Mount is right here. He's either dropping super deep to get involved in the play, or he's usually a little bit higher and further on the left-hand side over here. It may not seem like much, but Mount's role in getting Bruno into this area is very crucial. And as a result, Bruno is able to get the ball into Cunha at the edge of the box here to create a chance. Now, if you guys haven't seen my 8 in Heaven video or the short that I posted from the 8 in Heaven video, go check it out because I actually described the best chance of the game. And this play right here is almost a carbon copy of that chance just minutes before we execute that one to perfection. Here we have Heaven on the ball, and he's about to pass it forward into Casemiro. As soon as Casemiro receives it, he turns around and he looks forward to see where Mount is. And watch Mount's intelligence here. As this ball comes in, he allows it to go onto his left foot and feints as if he's about to drop his shoulder and get past him. So you see the entire back line is ready to sprint into this direction. But he knows he doesn't have the pace to get into a foot race with the defender. So he allows the ball to get there, actually takes a touch on the inside, and he creates that split second of time and space he needs to get the ball into Cunha, and he plays it into Cunha here. And now Cunha only has Agbadu to beat, so he tries this La Croqueta move that is associated with Iniesta. But unfortunately, Agbadu tackles him, and the opportunity is gone. But do you guys see how important Mount is in us progressing the ball through the left-hand side, and how he makes whoever is playing through the middle a lot better? You go back to that clip I showed in the Heaven video, and you look at this clip too. He was doing that first time pass or that second time pass into Cunha in the middle throughout the whole game. Now here we have Luke Shaw on the ball in the 35th minute, and Mount again is on that half space on the inside. This time, Dalot is a little deep because the team was probably a little too overcommitted on the right-hand side based on the shape of our three center backs here. As Mount receives it, you can tell his body shape is already in that position where he knows the press is coming from behind, so he has to play it first time. And he does exactly what we talked about in the previous clip and in that Heaven video. He plays that first time pass straight into Cunha, and he executes it to perfection because it comes straight to Cunha's left foot here. But unfortunately, Cunha's first touch lets him down, and Ahmad is actually forced to come back to collect this, and the chance is kind of dead, right? But if we look at that Shaw into Mount pass and then Mount into Cunha pass, Shaw and Mount play their passes perfectly from our left-hand side, and this is kind of actually through the middle, but it is the left-hand side of our team. But Cunha's poor touch actually stops this from becoming the perfect chance created by the Amorim system. And it actually allows Wolves to get back into a rest defense because we've lost our momentum and we can't really, Ahmad and Mbumo aren't ready to run in behind. Now, here we are again in the first half, and Wolves are looking to counterattack with Bellegarde here. He tries this crossfield pass into Arias, and Shaw just comes sliding in to make sure that Arias doesn't get there, and he takes him out, and he gets the ball first, obviously, and the ball falls straight into Mount's feet. And we see Mount waiting and waiting and waiting on the ball, just seeing what is around him. He knows Bruno's behind him. He also knows Dalot's behind him. So he takes his time and he plays this pass perfectly into Dalot's feet. And now I want you guys to appreciate what both Bruno and Mount are doing. Bruno is trying to take the run on the outside, so he gives number 26 here 2 players to mark. And Mount is making the run on the inside, so he gives Mosquera an extra threat to think about. And while both of these guys are making those runs, they're giving just enough time for Dalot to find the perfect Trivela pass into the back post. He's trying to find Cunha here, but Totti Gomez does a good job to dive in front of him and actually put that out for a corner. This play right here is the perfect example of our left side cooking, just like we're used to seeing the right side cook. We start with Shaw showing his aggression to win the tackle right here, Mount showing his game awareness and intelligence to wait for Dalot to come on the overlap to release the ball, and Dalot shows his technical skill set and composure to play a Trivela pass in behind to try to find Cunha on the back post. Guys, I'm telling you, this might have just been Dalot's best game of the season and best game in the last 2 seasons maybe, even after he had a really good game against Palace. Despite him having a bit of a stinker against West Ham, that is now 2 good games out of 3, which is a much higher output from him than we're used to. Instead of hoping for him to have more bad games, like let's say we're used to, I'm going to hope that he can keep up this form because we need him to do well during AFCON and for the rest of the season. From everything the club is putting out there as well, it doesn't look like we're really going to go buy a left wing back in January. So for now, in Dalot we trust. Now, if you've still stuck around this long, I hope I've shown you enough evidence of the link up between Shaw, Dalot, and Mount in that game to have faith that Ruben Amorim's system is not only good, but that he is improving some of our quote-unquote worst players. Almost everyone had written Dalot off before the Palace game this season. Nobody believed that Shaw could play as many games as he had because of his injury history, and we had almost forgotten that Mount even plays professional football because he'd been out for that long. For me, There is a very good reason that this team plays better when Mount plays, and it's not even the idea that Dalot or Shaw or Cunha get much better with him. Mount unlocks Bruno Fernandes in that team more than anyone else. He brings out that extra 5% in a player that already gives us 120% most weeks. And that, for me, is the difference between a dead left-hand side and one that scares teams. Because let's not forget, Bruno also plays on the left-hand side of midfield. That is the difference between Ahmad and Mbumo being double-teamed to death and the right side getting a lot more space. I think when Cunha starts ahead of Mount, we play a totally different way that is yet to look very good because Cunha is still trying to find his feet in our team and in Amorim's system. Obviously, I'm not asking for Cunha to get dropped or anything. I really want him to figure it out and make us look extra dangerous. Till then, thank God we have Money Mace getting back to his best, and thank God Dalot is picking up steam right before AFCON. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.